The least collected console for the 6th generation had a ton of games the GameCube didn't, and it played better than the PlayStation 2. I am the Game Collector, and this is Second Opinion Games, and today I show you some real hidden gems for the original Xbox.
Second Opinion Games.
First up, Metal Slug series, like 3, 4, and 5, which are the games that came out for the system. They didn't put them all on one disc, you had to buy them individually, and I know that you could probably emulate the arcade versions, but the Xbox version is actually quite good, if not better. I really like 5, the music and the pacing is awesome, but number 3 has so much personality, it is insane. Like when you're playing as your chick and you eat too much food, she gets fat, just like in real life. You know, women getting really fat. Also, you can be turned into a zombie and spit zombie juice all over your enemies, and then when you die, you come back as a normal human, thankfully. You could also get some medicine to cure your zombiness and go around killing everyone. Metal Slug is freaking awesome, guys. Marvel vs. Capcom 2 is not a fighting game that I hear anyone talk about for the original Xbox. Maybe you don't like playing the Duke as a fighting game controller, so just get an arcade stick for the love of God. Pelican made a great one that worked either for the GameCube and also the PlayStation 2, so you only really need to buy one for the entire generation outside of the Dreamcast, but that's for another video altogether. And one thing I really like about this game is that you could put together just the craziest team imaginable and put them up against real fighters. Like you could play Little Red or the Capcom girl from Resident Evil, and she just has some really weird attacks like she commands the zombies, for God's sakes. If she could command the zombies in this game, how come she couldn't in her own? Bloody Roar Extreme. This is a 3D fighter similar to a Virtual Fighter or Tekken, except for the fact that your characters can transform into giant beasts and maul each other in their beast form. I believe you do a little bit more damage when you do this, and your moves are slightly different. And this is a total game changer, as you have to build up your beast transformation energy. And normally I pick the cutest girl I could find in a fighting game and get really good with them because they're often the fastest. However, when you have a guy that can transform into a lion and rip all of your opponents to shreds, well, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna stick with him because I'm just gonna dominate everyone that I fight against. Yeah, I'm not very good at these style fighting games, but I always love playing them. And Bloody Roar's gimmick is irresistible to me. Mortal Kombat Shaolin Monks. Now, Mortal Kombat itself is known for having little side stories that were really terrible, like the mythologies of Sub-Zero. However, Shaolin Monks, from its very start, shows us why we love Mortal Kombat. It's not for its ridiculous story, even though, you know, that's a bit of a reason too. It's because of all the gruesome ripping spines out of people and the cool characters here. You get to play as Liu Kang or Kung Lao as you play through the storyline of essentially Mortal Kombat 2 and a little bit of Mortal Kombat 3 in a beat-em-up game. Now keep in mind, there's still fatalities here, and there's even stage fatalities, as you're always going to want to throw people in the spikes, and it plays unbelievably well. And this hidden gem didn't come out on no GameCube. Beatdown, Fists of Vengeance, another one-on-one fighting game, mixed in with a beat-em-up, mixed in with a Grand Theft Auto style open world environment where you try to recruit other fighters to join your side and take over the world. I guess you can only have 2 people join your gang at any point in time, and you're gonna need money to pay those people to fight alongside you, or you're gonna have to earn their allegiance in some fancy way by doing something for them. So after you beat up everyone, just mug them and take all their money. Also, the police are someone you're gonna wanna mug often, because why not give them a little bit of a taste of their own medicine, and you have yourself an incredibly dark game that's hard to see at all periods of time. But if a beat-em-up RPG sounds cool to you, well then it's cool. Godzilla Saves the Earth. It's another one-on-one fighting game where this time you play in a 3-dimensional world with Godzilla himself. Atari made it, and they're really not good at making 3D fighters, and they completely nailed it with this one, in the fact that it's so bad that it's good. You get to play as Godzilla, and you just destroy everyone you fight against. It is hilarious. There's power-ups on the screen. You get to wreck the city as you go along, and that's saving the Earth to me. Or at least blowing up a bunch of aliens that are trying to destroy everything, because that's Godzilla's job, to protect the world from aliens. And, you know, eat a whole bunch of people. Tired of beat 'em ups and you still want to play something iconic from the past? Check out Dukes of Hazzard, the return of the General Lee. This is a racing fetch and quest game where you get to play as the Duke brothers, not from the crappy movie, but from the crappy TV show. I honestly used to love the Dukes of Hazzard, and mostly I would just tune in just to listen to the theme song, which is still here intact. And I really have a good time with it, just like I have a good time of hitting my horn button every single time I go over a jump. The General Lee is pretty slippery in its controls, but you quickly get used to it and you get to know Hazzard County as you play through the game. It's like the TV show in video game form. Awesome. If you want to play a good movie-based game, well, how about Constantine? It's sort of a little bit like Max Payne mixed with Constantine, because that's what this is. You actually have a guy that sounds a lot like Keanu Reeves, if not Keanu Reeves himself, doing the voice, and the storyline is very similar to the movie, but changed just enough to make you want to play through the entire game. Running around blowing apart demons with your guns is amazeballs. Getting to see hell up close and personal, I never thought I would get to enjoy that, but I am here, and the game itself does a great job melding the differences between the comic book and the movie perfectly together. If you love games like Max Payne, then you're gonna love Constantine. If you're into more 3D adventure games, check out Pitfall: The Lost Expedition. This is essentially an updated version of Pitfall, complete with all the traps and the ability to explore every nook and cranny of this universe, which sadly to say Pitfall Harry is not voiced by Bruce Campbell anymore, unlike the PlayStation 1 game, but it still does a pretty good job. The storytelling here is also excellent. You have a guy that likes to point with his guns, and it is really hilarious, but let's face it, Pitfall is all about exploring every nook and cranny of the world and trying to find everything there is to find within a certain time limit. Well, they threw the time limit out the window, thank God, because this game can be very difficult, and it absolutely feels like this. An even better 3D action platform game is Vexx. Matter of fact, I think that this one could be the very best 3D action platformer of the entire generation, and it plays the very best on the original Xbox. The game itself looks gorgeous, the controls are tight and perfect, and it's very much like Mario 64, only instead of trying to find some type of star, you're trying to find beating hearts to open up your next area, and then give it more powerful as you play through, because it has some light RPG elements in the world that is just plain awesome to play in. Also, instead of just doing a simple combo, you can just entirely beat people down with your claw hands. And there's secrets around every single corner of this game, so you have to explore. I love this game so much because they didn't just phone it in. They put in the work to make the best experience possible, and it is definitely best played on the Xbox. Of course, the entire opposite of this game is Nightcaster, not in its quality. No, the quality is still here, but in the fact that the way the game is played, instead of focus on maneuverability and hacking everyone to bits and jumping all over, you don't jump at all. Instead, you have to use your different magical abilities and flip through them on the fly, because enemies are going to come after you, and some are weak to one type of magic spell and others will be weak to another, and sometimes they just cannot be killed if you're trying to hit them with the same type of magic. So you really have to learn what you're doing and learn it darn fast. Also, this world is dark because the whole thing is you're trying to bring back the sun in this epic adventure. Now, it can be played very much like a twin-stick shooter, or you could just switch to a third-person mode and sort of beat up everyone with your staff, but that's not nearly as fun. Also, there's a ton of spot-on voice acting here, and you have yourself a game that can only be played on the original Xbox. Now, a lot of the people that played the original Xbox were Halo people, and the people that played the PlayStation 2 played a whole lot of Grand Theft Auto. But Grand Theft Auto also came out as a trilogy pack on the Xbox, and they had better texture mapping, and the game itself played a bit better. Unfortunately, it came out very late in the life cycle of the console, which means not many people chose this version over its PlayStation 2 counterpart, and I really never got that much into it. No, instead, I took a different path, sort of Grand Theft Auto with robots. American McGee's Scrapland is probably the most beautiful hidden gem on the system, pushing the console to its graphical limits, and you play as a news reporter trying to figure out a murder mystery here because the most important person of all of Scrapland was murdered, and you have to get to the bottom of it. But don't worry, it's not all work and no play here because you'll have plenty of time to blow apart every cop that you could find in order to steal their money, because in this world, money literally is life, because when you die, you have to pay money to be regenerate and be built back together, because they're freaking robots. That's why murder doesn't really have such a high penalty. You could also take over different robots' bodies because your character is rather unique in that sense, and then you can manipulate other robots with your new robot body. This game is so well constructed that when they remaster it and update it and put it on a newer Xbox or the PlayStation 5 within the next 2 years, well, they probably don't have to change that much at all. And that's why it is one of my favorite real hidden gems for the original Xbox. But of course, that's just my opinion. Thanks for watching.
So if I don't get the money to Boss Hog soon, he's gonna foreclose on us.
I suggest you let her think she rescued herself. Here.
It's good to see you, Berto. Follow me, please.
Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. I had a great time making it because the original Xbox really is a great system to collect for. So I want to know what your favorite original Xbox game is. If it's Halo, tell me about something else, for the love of God. I already know about Halo. So don't forget to leave a comment, hit that thumbs up button, please subscribe to my small channel because I am having a great time making these videos and I want to keep doing so for quite some time. So until later, I will see you again.